10 affordable everyday fragrances for men. Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. Welcome back to the channel guys, I hope that all of you are doing well. It's time for your daily dose of some fragrance content, and today I'll be talking about affordable fragrances that you can wear pretty much every day. Something that you don't think too much about, just grab, spray on yourself, and that instantly makes you smell better. While at the same time, those fragrances will not break the bank. I'll start with something that's not very well known. It comes from the brand of Arabiat Prestige. It's part of the Portrait line of fragrances, and it's called Portrait Café Noir. And this is an interesting fragrance that, the name of this one can be a bit misleading. This has nothing to do with the note of coffee or anything like that. This in fact is a very interesting sort of a hybrid clone. To me, this reminds me of two very famous niche fragrances. On one hand, you have the scent profile of Creed Aventus. On the other hand, you have the scent profile of Baccarat Rouge 540. But for some reason, this also brings a little bit of vibes from something like the OG Dior Sauvage. I don't know why. Basically, you can think of this one, to me, this smells closer to the Baccarat Rouge side, but it smells like a fruitier Baccarat Rouge 540. You get some of the fruitiness from the Creed Aventus side, like, the pineapple note, a bit of the apple, a hint of citruses. You also will get a bit of that birchiness from the original fragrance from Creed, but then on the other hand, you get this sort of a candy sweetness that you get out of the Baccarat Rouge fragrances. You get some of the saffron that is found in the Baccarat Rouge. Basically, this opens up in a way similar to Creed Aventus, but sweeter, and then on the dry down, this actually starts to lean to the side of Baccarat Rouge 540 with some elements from Creed Aventus. The next one comes from the brand of Rue Broca, and it's part of the Theoreme line of fragrances, and it's the new member, and it's called Theoreme Matrix. And this one smells straight up like Creed Aventus, but it's not a straight up clone of Creed Aventus, but it feels a lot closer to Creed Aventus compared to Portrait Café Noir. This is fruity, this is birchy, this is has a bit of freshness, in fact quite a bit of freshness. Some people say that this is a clone of Aventus Absolute. I'm not too sure about that, but definitely this brings Aventus vibes. On the dry down, it also develops a little bit of a soapy vibe, and it's one of those fragrances that are, again, super versatile thanks to the scent profile of Creed Aventus. You can wear this one throughout the year without any problem. It has very decent quality. It's not superb, can be a little bit rough in the opening, especially in the first few minutes, but keep in mind that this is on a very affordable scent. I personally paid less than 20 euros to get it, and at that price point I think this serves its purpose very well, being a cheap daily driver scent that works in every type of scenario. And also this is a very likable scent that will probably get you compliments because people like the way that Creed Aventus smell. Performance is pretty decent, projection is nice. The same can be said about Portrait Café Noir. In fact, this is a little bit stronger than this one, but this also is twice as expensive. The next one comes from the brand of Zimaya, and it's part of the Sharaf line, and it's called Sharaf The Club. And this is one more fragrance that bears some similarities to Creed Aventus, but this feels a lot different. This in fact feels the furthest away from Creed Aventus. It just has somewhat of a distant vibes to Creed Aventus. This smells like a way fresher, a way lighter, and a way more soapier take on the Creed Aventus DNA. This and the other fragrance from this line, which is a very famous Sharaf blend, which is an Angel Share clone. These were released about a year and a half ago. The other one, the Angel Share clone, got a lot of attention. Sharaf The Club actually, I think, was left a little bit in the dust when it comes to the amount of attention that it got, and I think that's a little bit unfair because again this smells very nice, and it's a fragrance that's again super versatile. A very masculine scent. The quality here is very decent, the performance is quite good, and as long as you don't mind wearing something that will smell a little bit like Creed Aventus but with a very strong soapy vibe, I think Sharaf The Club from Zimaya is worth checking out. The next one that I've included in today's video is one of the latest releases from the brand of Lattafa, and it's the latest flanker to the OG Asad, part of the Asad line. This one is called Asad Bourbon, and in fact just yesterday I did my full review of this fragrance, and this is one of those very likable, very easy to wear, and very safe for blind buying fragrances from the brand of Lattafa. Now, initially when this was announced, people, including me, were expecting this one to have to be a lot darker than it turned out to be, to have a boozy vibe, and it turned out not to have a boozy vibe because of the name Bourbon. It turned out that the name Bourbon, that's the word Bourbon that's included into the name of this fragrance, comes from the note of vanilla bourbon or bourbon vanilla. This fragrance is not a straight up clone of anything, but it feels quite similar to 2 or 3 famous designer fragrances, and I'm talking about mostly Azaro the Most Wanted, Azaro the Most Wanted Parfum, maybe some vibes from Jean-Paul Gaultier's Scandal Absolu, but at the same time it feels a little bit different from those fragrances. It's a very aromatic scent that smells very nice in the air. It has a bit of spiciness, a bit of greenness, has quite a bit of sweetness, that mentioned vanilla, bourbon vanilla note, some ambery sweetness, a bit of cacao in here as well. But it's a very, very easy to wear fragrance that, again, is very likable, will probably get you compliments, and can work pretty much all year round. Decent performance, decent quality. It's slightly more expensive at the moment still, but it's one of the newest releases, and I would guess that with time prices will settle down a little bit, but I think it's worth checking out because it offers a very nice versatility. The next 2 that I've included in today's video are very well known fragrances. The original scents are very well known, they're very masculine, they're classic type of masculine fragrances that again are super versatile and can easily work as a daily driver type of scent. The first one comes from the brand of Armaf, and it's part of the Club de Nuit line, and it's called Club de Nuit Iconic, and this of course is a clone of Chanel's Bleu de Chanel EDP, and it's a very nicely done clone of Bleu de Chanel EDP. Of course, lacks a bit of the quality of the original fragrance, which is to be expected. This costs a third or a quarter of the price of the original, but at the same time it has a lot of good things going for it. First of all is that it's not as good as the original, but still as a clone it's actually done very nicely. The second is that it has great performance, better than the original fragrance. My bottle personally is almost beastly when it comes to performance. The third one is that it's a very likable and very versatile scent, and the fourth one is its price tag, again costs a fraction of the price of the original. So if you're looking for a substitute for Bleu de Chanel EDP, if you like that the king of blue scents, the original one, but you don't want to break the bank, especially nowadays with the crazy high prices that the Chanel fragrances carry, then I can tell you that you should definitely check out Club de Nuit Iconic from Armaf, because I think this is a great alternative to Bleu de Chanel. And the next one that I've included in today's video comes from the brand of Paris Corner. It's part of the North Stack Expressions line, and it's called Un. This one is a clone with a bit of a twist of Bulgari's Tiger. You can also think of this one as an alternative to Vibrato from Suspiro. It's another one of those very masculine fragrances that are super versatile. I just love the scent of the OG fragrance, but it's unfortunately super expensive for what it offers, in my opinion. Yes, it's a great scent, but it's not super unique, it's just super masculine and versatile, and at least around here prices on a full bottle of the original reach over 350 euros, so that's like $400, which is crazy high in my opinion. But luckily enough, nowadays we have quite a few good clones and alternatives to to Tiger, and North Stack Un is one of those nicely done clones. Quality here is very good, but again, this is not a straight up clone, this is more of a twist. It lacks a bit of that citrusy freshness of the original fragrance. It lacks a bit of the sweetness of the original fragrance. Here those things are substituted with a little bit of a soapy vibe on the dry down. This feels a little bit lighter in the air and has kind of a soapy vibe that the original one doesn't have, but still I think it's worth checking out because it offers very nice quality, smells quite close to the original one, and all that for just a fraction of the price of the original. North Stack Un from Paris Corner. The next one that I've included in today's video again comes from the brand of Paris Corner, and it's called Trillium, and this one is a clone of Roja Dove's Elysium Per Homme Cologne Parfum, I think is the full name of the fragrance. But it's yet another freshie, yet another very versatile fragrance that can be worn pretty much all year round, that is very easy to wear. This one though has a bit of a mature factor to my nose, because this has a bit of a grassiness to it. There's a vetiver note in here that's quite strong. In a way, this can smell sort of vaguely similar to something like a Terry d'Hermes. It's like a fresher, sweeter version of Terry Dermes, if you're not familiar with the OG that this has been inspired by. So it has a bit of a mature factor, but if that doesn't scare you, then I think this offers a very nice versatile factor, and it's a fragrance that just works pretty much any time of the day, any time of the year. Good quality, decent performance for a freshie. I'm still testing this one out, but so far seems to have a pretty decent quality, and all that for a fraction of the price of the original. Again, Roger Dove fragrances tend to be super expensive. The next one that I've included in today's video comes from the brand of Hadlash, and I recently included this one in a dedicated video about Hadlash. It's called Shiyaaka Blue, and it's yet another blue fragrance, but this one feels a little bit different. This again is not a straight up clone of anything. This feels like a mashup of a few very famous designer fragrances out there, while at the same time doing its own thing in a way. The opening here is somewhat similar to Bleu de Chanel, but it feels more sweeter than Bleu de Chanel, and that opening lasts for a few minutes, and after minutes, and after that this turns into something a little bit different, in fact quite a bit different to Bleu de Chanel. After that it becomes a little bit more woody, it becomes quite a bit sweeter than Bleu de Chanel, and on the dry down this in a way is similar to the OG Scandal Per Homme from Jean Paul Gaultier, while still doing its own thing on the side. It has a bit of a soapy vibe to it as well, so it's like the opening of Bleu de Chanel, the dry down of Scandal Per Homme with a soapy vibe added just for a good measure. It offers pretty decent quality. The performance actually, at least on my skin in my experience, has been pretty good with this one. It's crazy cheap. Sometimes this can be found for less than 15 euros. Just keep in mind that this has quite a bit of sweetness and it has a bit more of a youthful edge to it, but if you're not afraid of that, then you can safely check Shiyaaka Blue from the brand of Hadlash. The next one comes from the brand of Rayhaan, and it's called Ocean Rush. It's a fragrance that at some point in time got a bit of attention. Nowadays I don't see too many people talking about this one. This is a complete freshie of a fragrance, but it's actually very nice. Again, just like some of the others in here, it doesn't feel like a straight up clone of anything. This feels more like something done in a similar style. To my nose, this reminds me a little bit of the Acqua di Gio line of fragrances from Armani, but sweeter. It feels more aquatic and it feels sweeter than those fragrances. If you love a fresh type of scents and you're not afraid of having a bit of sweetness in your freshies, then I think Ocean Rush actually is a very nice fragrance on its own. Just don't approach this one as a straight up clone of anything. Just approach it with a fresh aquatic scent with a bit of sweetness, quite a bit of sweetness. Offers great versatility, smells very masculine, it smells youthful in a way, and offers really nice quality and very decent performance for what it offers as a scent profile. Ocean Rush from the brand of Rayhaan. And the last one that I've included in today's video comes from the brand of French Avenue, and it's called Essence de Blanc. This one is a clone with a twist of Louis Vuitton's Imagination. And again, not a straight up clone, it has a bit of a twist. If you like Imagination, if you have ever smelled Imagination and you're not afraid to wear something that has a bit of a twist on it, I think Essence de Blanc actually has a very nice quality. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the original fragrance. I wasn't a huge fan of this one when I first got it, but after I wore it for at least a few times, it started to grow on me quite a bit. It has a bit of a mature factor to it. I think it's for slightly older gentlemen out there, middle age or over that. But as a scent, it has a very nice quality and works really nicely. It has some freshness in the opening, there's some greenness, there's a tea note in here that feels quite strong through the mid and the early dry down of this one. A bit of sweetness, a hint of spiciness. Again, a very, to my nose at least, a very masculine fragrance that's super versatile and just can work for any type of occasion. For what it offers as a scent profile, this one also surprised me by its performance. It's actually a very decent performer. It's slightly more on the expensive side, but it comes really nicely packaged and I think it has a great quality. So guys, in today's video I showed you 10 affordable fragrances that you can use for daily wear. I hope that you found this video interesting. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me tomorrow for your daily dose of some fragrance content. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.